Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel here at Coco, Lencho, Japan. Actually, quite frankly, what I was trying to do is come out here like one of those silly reporters and stand out here in the rain and show you some of the things that you should look for when you are buying a house, especially out in the countryside of Japan. But conveniently enough for me, it stopped raining. We're gonna go ahead and do this anyways. But what I wanted to do again, right now where it's still raining in this rainy season in Japan, and what I wanted to kind of show you some of the lessons learned that I have experienced for the past 2 years from buying this house, doing the renovation, and now living in it. And now that I'm living in it, some of the things that I've kind of learned to look for, and some of the things that I should have looked for when we purchased this Akiya. Was no longer an Akiya, but this house in the countryside of Japan. So let me go ahead and turn around the camera and just walk around the property a little bit and kind of point out some of the things that we have learned thus far. So as you're looking for your house, shopping around in Japan, you're probably going to overlook the roof gutters and the drainage and so on, because quite frankly it can be very overwhelming, especially if your house was vacant. Our house was vacant for about 5 years, so it was way overgrown. And if you're interested in the topic of how we purchased, how we found it, how we renovated our house, please go back and check some of the other videos. But now we have been living here for almost a year, and since then obviously there are a lot of things that we have noticed and learned. Let me just go ahead and walk around through the different pieces of the property and show you what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and start right here where this cool little rain chain is at. I installed this after the fact, and one of the main reasons why is because there used to be the gutter right there, but there's too much water. So as you can see, the system right here, there's just too much water collecting. It just bursted this pipe right here, and so I just ended up putting this cute little rain chain. Quite frankly, it's more of a cool factor in my opinion. I mean, it does collect some of the rain, as you can see it coming right here. It also splashes a lot right there, so if anyone knows how to prevent that, please let me know. I did add this little spout right there. It's kind of hit and miss. A lot of the, it's kind of like the plaster that's on each of the corners. Now it's starting to rain a little bit better. A lot of it was chipping away, and recently I had a guy come over, fix a lot of those spots. When we renovated this house, we focused more in the inside and not the outside. Now after the fact, I asked him to come in, and you can see like those are wider. Those are new. Up to not too long ago, mud was exposed because underneath there is just really just mud. So I had them covered before the rainy season began, which we are in the middle of right now, which was a good thing. So this is new, that was installed after the fact. Our gutter was damaged when we bought this house, so water was splashing everywhere. As a matter of fact, you could probably see, you know, right there, it's kind of peeling away because a lot of water was splashing. That's just thin little like decorative boards, so it really doesn't do much. Above that is in good shape, so I'm not that worried about it, but eventually I'll get around to fixing that. But one thing that I have noticed, but right now it's not doing it, the flow is too much, and you can see a little bit right there, it kind of overflows a little bit, and I am a little concerned that it get a little wet right here, but eventually I'm just gonna go ahead and seal that. This other corner part right here, same thing, just too much rain coming down the gutter. However, one thing that you should look for is, I think we have a good system here. See, here it comes out, it goes out here, and then it flows out. This is a ladder from the roof guy. Actually, he's still doing some little bit of caulking, but yeah, so all the water is draining out to the street. And one thing that I highly recommend that you look at is we have this French drainage system. One thing I need to do is come in here and kind of level it out, make it more downwards, so eventually this will drain away, evaporate away. But see how it collects right there? It's collecting, and then over here there's this little, someone tried to fill it in with cement, and it's really not going away as nicely as it should. But here from the backyard we have more drainage. It's coming from the backyard down here, again down to the street, and then around the house the same thing. One thing I have noticed right here, see how it's all collecting? I need to come out here and again kind of slope it, but at least it is collecting most of the water, and eventually it all goes away, but I need to do that soon. Oh, look what I just discovered. So with all this rain, I need to call X and a carpenter and have this repaired. But this was the addition to our house, which is the laundry room, and these boards just fell off, and probably due to the rain, because it has been raining non-stop for about 2 weeks. Ugh, okay, see, good thing I came around and kind of did an inspection. So this needs to get repaired. But the good thing is that we have this drainage system, which is very common in Japan, that many of these houses are going to be up against a very tall wall. You know, it doesn't get much sun back here. It gets damp back here, which I don't necessarily care for, but sometimes that's the way it is. But one thing that we had in this house that I did not realize till afterwards, the vents under the house, there was like a solar fan. The house did not have electricity, at least not connected, but there was a constant airflow, and it was due to the solar panel that was up on the roof, and it must have been running for at least good 5 years. So that kept under the house relatively dry. So that's a good thing to look for. Let's go ahead and keep walking around the house. This is what we call, or I call, my man cave, because eventually I'm going to be turning it into my little man cave. And the top of it, let me go ahead and bounce around all these rocks. This top portion right here, these shingles kind of slid over. We had them refasten them. However, there's no gutters, so a lot of the water is kind of building up right there, a lot of moisture. It's a small building, it's well built, we'll go in there in a minute. And then a lot of the concrete, you can see right there, it was kind of cracked as well, so that was repaired. However, due to that, we do have some sort of like this kind of damage, and that's from the old leak. I don't think it's wet. I've been coming in here standing on this chair and kind of testing it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it one more time again, because it's been raining non-stop, and I've just been coming out here filling it, and it's pretty dry. There's no dampness. Well, over here, no, this is just stain from old. It's maybe a little damp, I'm not sure, but it's been crazy humid too. But there's no water, so that might be okay. Folks, if you're watching it, if you know better, let me know, but I think it'll be okay. So this is our little guest house. If you have not watched before, we renovated this guest house as well into a cool little place for visitors and friends, and it did have gutters, which was nice. However, this side right here, they are damaged. You can tell by this, newer one. Same thing throughout the house. We had some gutters that were a little damaged. Another thing to look for, is leaves and stuff like that will kind of compromise your drainage. I need to come out here and plug this in right here, kind of like this is. All these are things that you overlook, that unless you're doing a close inspection, you're not really paying attention. See right here, I need to see how there's water accumulating down there. I need to fix that. And water just gushes down from here. Yeah, water accumulating right here. See here in my little carport, some water is accumulating, mainly because there's not a gutter on this portion, and I need to probably put a gutter right there, have it all go that way. I have a teeny little leak right here coming from, this is just an old carport that we turned it into my little outside kitchen for now. Yeah, so moving over to the garage, one of the main flaws here with the garage was that it does not have a gutter at all. And as you can see, when it rains really hard, the water splashes in. This does a pretty good job. This needs to be replaced because this is not the right size, but at least the water does go out again to the road. But since I don't have a gutter, all the water just splashes all the way around and into the garage. So I need to get to that, and this is the same problem front and back. Overall, it's a very good solid garage, but that is one thing that there's a flaw with it. Let's walk around the back of the house. The good things is that there's a huge network right all the way around the house. We just walked around from there, and then from this side too. Listen, that is water that's coming from over there, from all the rice fields that are on my left. So it's constantly water just coming down. And then here on the backyard, water has been accumulating right here. However, the good thing is with this wall kind of blocks a good part of it, but very damp. We do have this drainage system, which I need to come out and clean it out. These are all the different things that you're going to have to contend with if you are going to live in the countryside or other places. But see how it's accumulating. What's happening, it's all accumulating right there. What's happening is it's all coming down this little slope. It gets trapped in here, and right now it's not cleaned out. I think before they kind of had a system where water was coming down, they get trapped in these little containment areas, come down here, and this is plugged. I need to clean it out. That was full of garbage, see how, and then you can see how they had a little pipe right there. And then once I get it cleaned out better, but eventually once it stops raining, then the day or two all goes away. So it's not very high on my priority list right now, but I will get to it. But the good thing is all this drains the way out to the street and off it goes. And look at this, really nice, more drainage, a view from above. You can see the water, kind of the same drainage that I have right here. Here soon, once it's not as hot, I need to do the same thing around it, around my little bushy garden that got way out of control because of all the rain, and kind of collect that water, reroute it this way. But for the most part, it just kind of stops around there, at least I hope so. See here, constant nice water. That is one thing that, you know, you live around rice fields like we do. They're not mine, they're my neighbors, but what does rice need? Water. So yes, all that water comes down, and so if your neighbors have rice fields and the water needs to flow, kind of make sure that it's flowing freely out into the drainage system and not into your house. So check it out, which is very impressive, the network that they have here in Japan, the water system. It's really, really impressive. And part of your duties and responsibilities of living in the countryside is coming out here and help clean the gutters, to include cleaning and weeding, and now it's starting to rain a little bit more. Yeah, hopefully you got a good idea of some of the things that you should look for when you are out shopping for a house, and you get all googly eye and you get really excited about all the prospects with this house, a beautiful countryside house. There are a lot of problems that you may not foresee. Yes, in the news, the media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you have a lot of people, to include myself, you know, talking about how you can find really cheap property in Japan. just to let you know. So I've talked about it before, but here we paid, you know, $35,000 for everything you see here, but we put in a good chunk of money into the renovation, which is it's your choice what you want to do. Keep in mind, if you buy a $5,000 property, you are going to get what you pay for the most part. And just I just wanted to do this quick video and point out some of the things that you should look for, such as that. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed this quick little walk around, and good luck on your quest. If you have any questions, please comment below, send them my way. I am going to be working on different other more educational videos about purchasing an Akiya. One I want to do soon is how to buy one, how to find one, and the answer is there's no one way. And this is really in response to a kind of a frustrated and quite frankly a little bit, let's say, not so friendly subscriber. I don't know if he's a subscriber or not, but someone that commented, and he was frustrated that people like me and other folks, we talk about our Akiya experiences, but we don't tell you how to buy it. Well, the answer to that is there's no one way, but I wanted to do a little bit better response to that later on. Okay, all right, enough rambling. Have a great day. Goodbye.